What's happening, my beautiful people? My name is LaBelle. Welcome back to the Playbook. Today, we're going to shift your attack. I'm giving you everything you need to know with that build up, that tiki-taka, unlocking the space with some beautiful assortment of passing options. If you've been struggling to beat that AI defense, this will help you. Let's get straight to the business. A two-man game. I find myself in this position constantly. Even better if you have two strikers or a couple attacking players. They're making overlapping options. A lot of pass and move. We're not getting into anything crazy with the complications. We're taking what the game has provided. So traditional passing, understanding spacing. You do have to trigger runs, and then a lot of pass and move, which means you're holding L1 or LB when you're looking for those passes. It tells that initial passer to make a run to go for the overlap. Understood? We have Harry Kane. Maybe with a different player, I would choose for some skill move opportunities here, but I don't trust it. We've got Mkhitaryan. He's coming into space. This is going to be the game plan. Attack that space. Let's play a little bit of that game of the 1-2 punch. Kane to Mkhitaryan. Back to Kane. Back to Mkhitaryan. What has this done for us, you might ask? There's still defenders in the mix, but we're now in the middle of the pitch, which tells me that I can go into the skills. I can shoot with the left. I can shoot with the right. In this case, I'm going to look for a Trivela for you and your mother. Unfortunately, Kane's positioning could have been a little bit better. Kubo is in a somewhat favorable place. I always try to focus on triangles, which might lead us into our second segment today. Spoiler, teaser. This isn't the best of those triangles, but we are at the top of the box, which means we can do some things. Mkhitaryan steps through it outside of the boot. We're going to convert when you give us the middle of the pitch. It's all about leverage. We want choice. Next, and this is about as classic as it comes, Kareem the Dream. He's looking for help. We found help. This is going to be the epitome of a two-man game because we don't have any other helpers anywhere on the pitch. Maybe a big switch, but that's not an immediate danger. These midfielders, they're all sat back looking flat. You hate to see it. And this is one of the major complaints right now. What are you supposed to do with this? These guys are not helping the attack whatsoever. Flat as can be. So we got two players, but what we do have in our favor, a lot of space. So all I need to do is try to pull one of these defenders out of position. If I can forge some sort of mistake, I'm going to be able to take advantage of that space. Understand the game plan. I'm just telling you what's happening in the mind. I'm maximizing what's been provided on the pitch, and we're still going to look for the pass and the move. If not, I'll go backwards. I'll resurface. I'll recycle. Kareem, Garrincha. There it is. We have a mistake, boys and girls. Garrincha's going to take off. We got space to work with. We still got to do something with it. I'm not saying this is a sure thing, but we now have a discussion and a talking point, and we got some free passes to work with. There it is. Kareem Benzema, we cut inside. If you've seen me play, then you already know what's on the mind, especially considering that we have zero support. We're going for an early Trivela. Goalkeeper, he's in that money zone for the positioning. If we don't go for goal here, in terms of outside of the box shot that kind of fits the meta, you have three different ways you can resurface, but none of them are that attacking. Sometimes going back can lead to progression, which I'm going to touch on in just a little bit. But either way, Garrincha into the money zone. We're going to make a highlight out of this. Green, please. Yes, sir. A little bit of a light jog. The Brazilian does what he does. Spoiler! These are some of my favorite examples. We're looking at the triangular precision. I see the game in triangles. You need to see it the same way. And this is universal every single year that I've played FIFA or now FC. I see the game in triangles. That's going to be our first option there. We got Kubo. He's working. And if you have played any of FC 24, you already know if you got this many defenders and midfielders in the box, somebody's going to get a block somewhere. You've got to make the extra pass. Otherwise, AI blocks their Mando. Just a necessity of life. They happen way too frequently. So that's option one. Option two, maybe a secondary triangle, just depending how it opens up. If for some reason the defense were to back off once we make this pass to Hemp, in theory, you could go directly for goal, but I just know better. I've already made my mind up of what I'm looking for. The little dump off. There it is. Kubo. There's the pass. Cristiano. Automatic goal. I want you to generate chances that almost always convert. The highest percentage play. And again, classic drag back. We make that extra pass. The dump off. Cristiano. It's beautiful. It's easy on the eyes. Ooh, we are about to cook. You see that early triangle? That's the collaboration. And I can't stress the importance of triggering these runs. I'm going to send Madison along his pathway, his own destination. What that does is it drags midfielders. It drags center backs. It drags full backs. It can create spacing for us. Look at us. We're starting to do some things here. Now it's going to be tightly worked. It's a small triangle. I understand. We're going for the intricacies and the details. We're trying to find some additional spacing. And at the same time, you have to pull players out of position. But we are moving. Now, once I've got the ball here, oh, I know good things are going to happen. We've done the hard part. It might look pretty complex, and I understand it. There's a lot of bodies. But what's just happened is we've opened up a major lane of space. And I can't stress spacing enough. Right here. We got a runner. We got spacing. We got gaps. In theory, I could also use some sort of skill if I wanted. Got the ball with Cristiano Ronaldo, middle of the pitch. You're going to have to attack at least one, but you might have to take on a couple of these guys. When they're this close together, if you're going to go for some sort of skill move package, you might have to challenge more than one. It could be a scenario where you need some good fortune, but it doesn't matter because we already have hemp. We've got the overlap. It's free as can be. Plenty of time. Goalkeeper, no chance. But it starts with the triangles and moving those triangles. Did you see how we progressed the pitch but still kept triangles? We had support, we had layoffs, we had overlapping, we had the ability to overwhelm. It's beautiful, and we're never gonna miss that finish. Count it. Granted, maybe I could have came up with a better name, but we're calling this timing the touch. It'll make sense. You'll understand. I've already identified what we're looking at here in terms of that active triangle. It's going to be reoccurring. But the difference here is that I'm going to trigger this player as a runner. Are you with me? I'm going to trigger this player as a runner to challenge the center back, basically to go this direction. I already know that I want to make this pass, right? Are you with me? I'm going to make this pass, an entry pass, and FIFA or FC24 is a game about rhythm, fluidity, tempo, when you make the pass, how you make the pass, if you want to use that pass as an offensive weapon, which we do. We're not teaching passive play. This isn't about possession. We're trying to score goals. So I am triggering this runner as I'm making this entry pass. There it is. First time release. Rafinha taps it home. One more time. I'm going to rewind. We're going to bring this back. I think it's worth it. Slight slow-mo. Entry pass is when I started triggering the run. I see the layoff. And then from there, it's as good as done, dusted, and we get ourselves a little highlight. More of the same. We cut inside. Cristiano Ronaldo. As I'm receiving, I've already made up my mind. I've got a runner. I've got space to work with. I want to take advantage of that space. That gap was for me. That's how I feel. It was for me. And if for some reason, and I hate my opponent's spacing, I don't think it's done well for him. But if for some reason I feel as if my opposition shifted well, he's taking this option. If it came down to it, I still have Cristiano Ronaldo in the middle of the pitch. If I want a skill move session instead to try to challenge this defender. But I like what I'm seeing just to make it a little more up close. This is what we want right here. And there's a big gap in between. And those gaps are always your best friends. There's the layoff. I love this from yours truly. It's another added element because of the spacing, because of the separation. Right now, I'm going to take a glance. I'm thinking, what is the goalkeeper doing? Is there going to be goalkeeper movement? In this case, he does start scooting over just slightly. I even throw in a ball roll just to see if I'm going to have to double pump and double adjust. There it is. Ball roll, you tap it home. One more time. There's a lot happening here. It looks simple. It is simple, but there's some complications. You see the goalkeeper scoot, little ball roll, and we tap it home. We celebrate. We move on. As a classic number 9, I'm very familiar with the wall pass, and it's underrated, underappreciated, not used nearly enough when we're talking about the virtual pitch. We make the entry pass here, and our first instinct is to go forward. You want to turn a defender. You want to make sure that you're always pressing players forward. It doesn't have to be like that. In fact, often your better option to get an easier offensive slot is to go backwards first. We got a lot of supporters. Who's coming in? Who's going to play their role? I look at this example and I see this gap of space, middle of the pitch. It's dangerous. And again, eyes are open. I got vision. If you give me the center, I can go left, I can go right. I've got easier options. I can introduce a little sprinkle of ingenuity if needed. This is going to be gorgeous with the layoff. Wall pass, layoff, play the way you're facing. That's what they teach you. Play the way that you're facing. Hemp opens up her body. Torella goodness. I scored tons of goals with these wall passes. And what I've noticed, a lot of players that are lacking and the final third, they make the entry pass, but they don't know what they're going to do with it. And the reality is players are closing in. When you make that entry pass or you whip it in or you go for a driven pass, you got to have the layoff ready or the skill move or the exchange or the interchange. Something has to happen because players will push you out so quickly. We've got more examples. Cristiano on the ball, looking for helpers, gonna find Hemp on an overlap, always trying to isolate the middle of the pitch. You see Madison here, that's got to be the layoff, and it is gonna be the layoff. But what we do from there, remember, we're going backwards to make for easier offense. The space, it's here. The player, he's in an opportunistic position, got the defender or the center mid on his hip. We're going to step in. Rafinha's going to have all the time in the world to convert, power it up. Goalkeeper can't do anything with it. The ball moves quicker than the player does. We could technically have tried to turn the defender. If you watch this back, when we get this entry pass to Madison, is it possible that we beat, I believe it's Marquinhos in this matchup? Is this a possible matchup that we could take a 1v1, do a skill move? For sure. But what's the higher percentage? What's the true guarantee? Where are we going to convert with the highest validity? And that's that layoff. Rafinha is number one, steps through again. Bread and butter, easy peasy. Last but not least, we're calling this the percentage play. You've seen a lot of the pass across and the extra moves. It's more or less around understanding how to drag players. The center back is chasing, but she's sort of in no man's zone. Do you challenge? Do you sit back this way? Either way, we're in an advantageous role, and the idea is to bait her out of position, and the best option all day, every day, Hemp. It's a little bit sweaty, but it's the name of the game. Again, we're looking for sure things. In theory, we technically have a triangle as well, but part of that triangle is not really accessible. We bait the center back, extra layoff, Hemp converts. The point is, play the percentages, make the extra pass. We're seeing much more understanding of some of the end line or the sideline work for those extra passes because it's an easier way to beat the AI, and people are scoring those goals. But it wouldn't be right if I didn't include at least an example. Those are 5 ways to unlock additional space with the attack, and you didn't see a bunch of skill moves. I wanted to bring out something a little bit different with some quick passing, some maneuvering. If you found it helpful, feel free to subscribe, drop some love on the video. There'll also be a couple other videos on screen if you want to continue this journey. Mastering FC 24. I've been your host with the most, and I have a lot more content coming out ASAP.